Hello everyone and welcome to Rollinish. I'm Matt and today we're looking at Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. This was a supplement that came out years ago, shortly after the release of the Player's Handbook and Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which is an additional supplement. These supplements are to be used in conjunction with your 2014 Player Handbook to offer additional options and features, including subclasses for each class in the game. If you haven't done so already, take a look at our class playlist. There you're going to find an intro to video for all the classes telling you what you get levels 1 through 20, in addition to all of the subclass videos that tell you what you get when you choose the subclass for each class. We've done this for both the 2014 Player's Handbook and Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and now we're continuing to look at the options provided by Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, all leading up to the release of the new 2024 Player's Handbook, so we can take a look and compare what we had versus what we're getting. Today we're looking at the Cleric class and the additional subclasses that come in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, starting with the Order Domain. The Order Domain is going to be for those clerics who value discipline. They are going to be devoted to laws that govern maybe an institution such as like a temple, somebody that cares for or watches over the temple, and also maybe they are tied to or favor certain philosophies. So this is going to be, those who like to color inside the lines, this might be the divine domain for you. Some of the gods that are tied to this domain are listed here in this little table, just to give you an idea of which deities to look out for when choosing this domain, because they fit very nicely in what this type of cleric can do. Starting at first level, when you choose this divine domain, the first feature that you get are actually going to be to unlock your access to domain spells. When you reach first level, you're going to get access immediately to Command and Heroism. Command is an enchantment spell that kind of works like a one-word charm, and the target is going to try to obey it to the best of their abilities if they fail their saving throw. Whereas Heroism is a concentration spell for a minute. Until the spell ends, a creature is immune to being frightened and gains temporary hit points equal to your spellcasting modifier for the start of each of its turns. When the spell ends, the target loses any remaining temporary hit points from the spell. So it's like giving them a little bit of a floating shield and the ability to not be frightened. And this is a spell that you can upcast. The table here is going to break down some of the other spells that you get access to. One of the juicier ones is that 5th level Mass Healing Word, which allows you to choose up to 6 creatures of your choice to give some healing. It's not a lot. It's a 3rd level spell slot, but you're only going to be able to heal about a d4 plus your spellcasting modifier. It's almost like the equivalent of those 6 creatures you choose drinking a regular potion of healing. Maybe a little bit less, depending on what your ability score modifier is. So make sure you focus on your wisdom, because that's what drives your spellcasting modifier when you're creating your player. In addition to those spells that you have access to in that table, you get bonus proficiencies, one of which is going to be heavy armor. This is going to be able to give your cleric the ability to wear heavy armor right away at first level and protect yourself from taking dangerous hits at low levels. You also get proficiency in intimidation or persuasion, your choice. Both are charisma based. You also have the Voice of Authority feature you get at first level. If you cast a spell with a spell slot of first level or higher and target an ally with that spell, that ally can use their reaction immediately after the spell to make one weapon attack against a creature of your choice that you can see. So it's almost like you hit them and they are emboldened by your command and they do it. So this is a way to play... I don't want to say a sheriff, but it's kind of like a sheriff. Not that this character has to be the leader of your party, but it's in combative moments, it's like giving direction to your teammate and then taking it in an advantageous way, not in like a bossy fashion. You can roleplay that however you want to do it, but that is the Voice of Authority feature. It's a nice way for one of your teammates to use their reaction to get a free hit on a target you choose. At second level, you get a Channel Divinity option called Order's Demand. As an action, you present your holy symbol, and each creature of your choice that can see or hear you within 30 feet must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you until the end of your next turn, or until the charmed creature takes any damage. You can also cause the charmed creature to drop what they're holding when they fail the saving throw. So immediately, if you want to disarm an enemy, That's the way to go. Drop your weapon and walk that way. That is the command that you can give all in one turn. And then they would drop the weapon immediately, and then on their turn would follow your command to the best of their ability. Or you can try and see if that charmed creature will hit another target. That is another good way to use that Channel Divinity feature. At 6th level, you get Embodiment of the Law. If you cast a spell of the enchantment school using a spell slot of 1st or higher, you can change the spell's casting time to a bonus action for this casting, provided the spell's casting time is normally an action. You could use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. This is a really good way to take an action spell and cast it as a bonus action, leaving your action available for you to swing a weapon or maybe cast a cantrip. Keeping in mind that you can't cast another spell once you cast a bonus action spell unless that action is a cantrip. There are some maybe homebrew instances to that. I know that once my player characters at my table reach level 10, they are available to cast a cantrip or a 1st level spell as their action if they've used a bonus action to cast a spell. That's all part of the spell casting rules. You can look those up, but that's how I homebrew that. And then I think at 15th level, I allow my players to cast a cantrip 1st or 2nd level spells in action when they use their bonus action to cast a spell. Again, that's homebrew rules, but to each their own. This is a great way, though, to manipulate your spells, to use them a little bit better with your action economy, and potentially maximize healing or maximize damage, depending on what that action spell you're turning into a bonus action is. So that is a really nice feature to have. Thumbs up to Embodiment of the Law. That's a great feature. 8th level, you get Divine Strike. Essentially, once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can cause the attack to deal an extra 1d8 psychic damage to the target. When you reach 14th level, the extra damage increases to 2d8. Love that. I'll take any extra damage that I can get. And then at 17th level, you get Order's Wrath. If you deal your Divine Strike damage to a creature on your turn, you can curse that creature until the start of your next turn. The next time one of your allies hits the cursed creature with an attack, the target also takes 2d8 psychic damage, and the curse ends. You can curse a creature in this way only once per turn. I love that because this said your Divine Strike increases at 14th level to 2d8. Once you're at 17th level, Order's Wrath allows your teammates to jump in on this, right? Because if I use my Divine Strike to hit a creature and they're still standing, and I curse them, the fact that the next time one of my allies hits that cursed creature, they also get to deal the Divine Strike damage, that is a very nice buff to have. So combat-wise, the Order domain is a thumbs up for me. Okay, the next domain we're going to look at is the Peace domain. This is going to be an arbitrator, or somebody that presides over the signing of important noble or legal documents. They help in negotiations or perhaps attend the signing of treaties. This is going to be somebody that's close to somebody important. Maybe that somebody important is a judge of the law. Maybe it's, some kind of sovereign in your city or town, or whoever's in charge. They're going to rely on a cleric. I tend to see this get played often as like an advisor to a sovereign. Because somebody has to speak up, and especially in larger cities, maybe like your Waterdeep, your Neverwinter, to advise your sovereign against things like war. The voice of the people, perhaps. So there is room in Dungeons and Dragons for a peace-loving, hippie kind of cleric, but that is how I see them being played. The table given here offers a bunch of different deities that you could select based on the setting that you're in, so it'll give you some guidance on what to choose there. As far as the features go, 1st level, when you choose Peace Domain, you unlock the spells that you're going to get access to at certain level intervals. This table here has them all broken down. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's some good ones in here, including Beacon of Hope at 5th level. This is a spell. You choose any number of creatures within the 30-foot range. For the duration, each target has advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws and regains the maximum number of hit points possible from any healing. This is a concentration spell that lasts a minute. This is a good one for you to work collaboratively with your party at the table, above the table. Hey guys, who's hurting? Okay? Who's hurting? Because we're fighting this thing. We need advantage on wisdom saves. We need advantage on death saves. This is a tough fight. Who's about to start healing or drinking healing potions? Because get close to me, I'm casting a Beacon of Hope. that is a good way to talk above the party and strategize, especially when you're in a really tough fight. A lot of spellcasters, a lot of evil spellcasters use a lot of spells that deal or force you to make a wisdom saving throw. So this highlights, to me is kind of like halfway between a hero's feast, right? Because you get the advantage on the wisdom saving throws, death saving throws, get to heal the max. Those are similar, not the same, but similar to what you might get at a hero's feast, which is a 6th level spell. You're not going to get that until much higher in your adventuring career. So this is a nice bridge to that kind of spell. I'm also a very big fan of Greater Restoration. There's a lot of cursed items in the game that you could put or that come along with some of the pre-written modules. This is a good one to have. You could reduce an exhaustion level by 1 or end one of the following effects. Somebody that's charmed or petrified, end a curse or a curse magic item, or the attunement to a cursed magic item. Can't unattune a cursed item any other way but Greater Restoration. So if you don't have a cleric in your party, you're going to have to find one as you travel if you get into a situation like that. Having somebody in your party with the ability to cast this spell is huge. It also can reduce one of the anything that is causing a reduction to an ability score. There's a lot of necromancy spells that can do something like that. Or end an effect reducing the target's hit point max. That's, again, another feature that is often tied to a necromancy spell. So this is a great spell to have. So access to spells like these, take a look at them because they are great options and you get access to them when you reach these level intervals. What you also get at first level is a feature called Implement of Peace. You gain proficiency in Insight, Performance, or Persuasion. Performance and Persuasion are both charisma-based. Insight is Wisdom. There's a chance you may have taken proficiency in Insight at the character creation, so maybe you look at Performance or Persuasion here, or if you didn't grab Insight, this would be a good place to grab it. You also get a feature called Emboldening Bond at first level. As an action, you choose a number of willing creatures within 30 feet of you. This can include yourself, equal to your proficiency bonus. So you can't choose everybody in that radius. You can only choose a number of people in that radius up to equaling your proficiency bonus. So if you have 3, you could choose 3 creatures that include yourself. You create a magical bond among them for 10 minutes or until you use this feature again, while any bonded creature was in 30 feet of another, not just you. This creature can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to an attack roll, an ability check, or saving throw it makes. Each creature can add the d4 no more than once per turn. This is kind of like Bless without casting the spell. So if you're familiar with the Bless spell, it's very similar. This is a great feature to have without burning a spell slot. This is just an action for you, but this is great. It lasts for 10 minutes until it runs out or you cast it again, so it does not require concentration on your part. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So right off the bat, you get proficiency in skills, access to some pretty great spells, and essentially the ability to bless for 10 minutes without concentration. So far, so good. Balm of Peace is your channel divinity option you get at 2nd level. As an action, you can move up to your speed without provoking opportunity attacks, and when you move within 5 feet of another creature during this action, you can restore a number of hit points to that creature equal to 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier. A creature can receive this healing only once whenever you take this action. So it's a way for you to use an action to move peacefully, right? No opportunity attacks, with the goal being getting within 5 feet of a teammate or an NPC to heal them. And the healing's pretty good. 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier is pretty good. But that is your action. That's your channel divinity. I think that's pretty great. It saves you from using healing potions. It saves you from burning a spell slot on something like Healing Word or Cure Wounds. This is just going to use up one of your channel divinity options. Just walking and healing. Love it. Without putting yourself in harm's way. 6th level Protective Bond. When a creature affected by your Emboldening Bond feature is about to take damage, a second bonded creature within 30 feet of the first can use its reaction to teleport to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the first creature. The second creature then takes all the damage instead. So if you are bonded to maybe the wizard in your party who doesn't really have a lot of AC, doesn't really have a lot of hit points, one of your other bonded party members, remember that bless, it's almost like a bless, they can use their reaction to teleport and take that damage. So your beefy paladin, your beefy cleric, if you have a second cleric, or your, let's say, barbarian, could teleport and take that damage instead and protect somebody in your party or maybe an NPC that you're protecting. That is really cool. So far, this might This might be one of my favorite, I'm going to have to start ranking these, one of my favorite subclasses for Cleric, because I can heal, I can defer the damage to someone else, and I can bless, all without burning a spell slot so far. Potent spell casting at 8th level, you add your wisdom modifier to the damage you deal with any cleric cantrip. Love that. Because usually cantrip damage is just whatever the spell says, so the ability to add your wisdom modifier to that, maybe it's a +3, a +4, great. 17th level, you get Expansive Bond. The benefit of your emboldening bond and protective bond feature now works when a creature are within 60 feet instead of 30 from one another. Moreover, when a creature uses protective bond to take someone else's damage, the creature has resistance to that damage and they only take half. This is a healer's subclass, for real. You can make fun of Peace Domain all you want, but in combat, I want a Peace Domain cleric around, especially in something that's like, can be a meat grinder and can hit really heavy with the potential to kill, like Curse of Strahd, or playing in Tomb of Annihilation, or playing in Tomb of Horrors, maybe Vecna Eve of Ruin. There's a lot of campaigns out there that are very combat heavy, very serious potential for character death. This is a great domain. Twilight Domain is, in my opinion, it kind of borders on the almost druid type cleric. This is a cleric that is going to transition light and darkness. The nighttime brings them joy and peace. The darkness can also bring terrors, but the gods of Twilight guard against it. So this is going to give you some deities that might be good to utilize for this subclass that can use darkness like nighttime in a good way. In using the moon, using the ability to hide, things like that. When you look at the domain spells that you get access to when you take this feature, you get access to sleep. That's to put enemies to sleep. You get access to a spell called Moonbeam, which is a 40-foot high cylinder centered on a 5-foot radius, so one target. And as a target moves into that area for the first time or starts its turn there, ghostly flames will engulf it. They make a Constitution saving throw, and if they fail, they need to take 2d10 radiant damage, or half if they succeed. Any shape changers are going to make this save with disadvantage. So this is like utilizing Twilight or the Moonlight to your advantage. You'll be able to see invisibility. That's a spell that you'll have access to because you're attuned to the darkness. So something trying to hide from you will have less success. So these are some of the greater spells that you get. You yourself get access to greater invisibility. You can make something invisible, and that is a great spell to have. So this is going to be seeing those hiding, using the darkness to your advantage. Another feature you get at first level is called bonus proficiencies. It's going to allow you proficiencies with martial and weapons and heavy armor. This is going to make you close to a paladin. Paladins at first level have access to martial weapons and heavy armor, so they can pretty much use any weapon they want and any armor that they want. This is essentially giving that feature to you as a cleric, though. Eyes of the Night is another feature you get at first level. You have dark vision out to a range of 300 feet. 300 feet. In that radius, you can see dim light as if it were bright, and in darkness as if it were dim. So, yeah, this is a huge benefit to have, especially if you're diving into the Underdark or dark areas, roaming around at night, keeping watch. Gives you an advantage, especially at keeping watch at night, because with a range of 300 feet, you can be prepared a little bit sooner and not have to be surprised with an attack in the night. Also, as an action, you can magically share the dark vision of this feature with willing creatures you can see within 10 feet of you, up to a number of creatures equal to your wisdom modifier. The shared dark vision lasts for an hour. Once you share it, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. They have to be within 10 feet of you while you're moving. So if you guys stay together and huddle together in the darkness, you could share this dark vision with your teammates. So forget about being surprised. Eyes of the Night is a great feature to have for that very reason. Vigilant Blessing. As an action, you give one creature you touch, including yourself, advantage on the next initiative roll that creature makes. This benefit ends immediately after the roll, or if you use this feature again. That's fantastic because you never know as a player when you're going to be entering an encounter. Some of it is planned, but sometimes you just don't know. So the fact that you could potentially start your day giving someone including yourself, this blessing. If you happen to run into an encounter and need to roll initiative, that gives that person advantage. I think that's important. I myself, as a cleric, and I've played a cleric before, I typically don't like going first in an encounter. As a cleric, I like to stay somewhere in the middle or towards the end because I could see and react to what's going on if I have to heal, if I have to use a spell, if I have to, defend somebody else. That's the way I like to play my clerics. I could do so, but the fact that I could give this to my paladin or my rogue or my barbarian, somebody I want towards the front to set the tone, I love that. Your channel divinity option at 2nd level is called Twilight Sanctuary. As an action, you present your holy symbol and a sphere of twilight emanates from you. The sphere is centered on you, has a 30-foot radius, and is filled with dim light. The sphere moves with you and lasts for a minute or until you're incapacitated or die. Whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you can grant that creature one of these benefits. Either grant it temporary hit points equal to 1d6 plus your cleric level, and you get this at 2nd level, so that's a +2, so d6 +2. And then as you level up, it gets higher. Or you can end one effect on it, causing it to be charmed or frightened. That is also good, because spells like Lesser Restoration or Greater Restoration can do those benefits, but those are spells, and they require spell slots. The fact that I could end a Charm or Frighten, or give you temp HP with just a Channel Divinity is a great option to have. At 6th level, you get Steps of the Night. As a bonus action, when you're in dim light or darkness, you can magically give yourself a flying speed equal to your walking speed for a minute. You can use this bonus action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Wow. So to basically use the shadows to fly and manipulate the battlefield that way, or the room that you're in, or wherever you are, I tend to use battlefield loosely, that's incredible. And at 6th level, to be able to fly. That is something that intrigues me and pulls me towards this subclass. Okay, Divine Strike, 8th level. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can cause the attack to deal 1d8 radiant damage. When you reach 14th level, the extra damage increases to 2d8. We saw something similar in one of the other domains, so we see it again here. I love that carried through. It's a great way to increase your damage output. At 17th level, you get Twilight Shroud. The twilight that you summon offers a protective embrace. You and your allies have half cover while in the sphere created by your Twilight Sanctuary. And remember, your Twilight Sanctuary channel divinity is a 30-foot radius. So while you're in it, not only are you lit up like a Christmas tree, but you also get half cover, which means you get +2 to your AC and dexterity saving throws. So that is very cool and a good way to buff that channel divinity when you use it. Very good. I like all 3 of these. I think my favorite of these still might be the Peace Domain, but these are great options to have, and I think an improvement on what Xanathar's offered for the Cleric class. That's going to do it for Cleric. We're going to take a look at Druid in our next video and see what Tasha's Cauldron of Everything had to offer during its run. Until then, keep rolling those dice, and we'll see you at the table.